I want to highlight an example of leftist infighting and gatekeeping. Whenever somebody on the left makes a video talking about how we need to reduce immigration or we need to reduce temporary foreign workers, immediately you'll see other people come out and say that that video is racist. Now, to be fair, a lot of my mutuals and a lot of people who follow me did not do that, because I have made a very conscious effort to time and time again explain how my opinions on international students, temporary foreign workers, etc., that comes from a leftist worldview. One leftist will say, well, if you're against immigration, if you're against temporary foreign workers, if you're against international students, then that means that you just don't like foreigners. That's not the case, because I think that that stance is inherently pro-capitalist, which makes it antithetical to the left. Let me explain. The reason that both liberals and conservatives push for high levels of immigration is because more immigrants that come in, the more likely you are to have somebody who is going to accept a lower paying job. And there are studies that back this up. Non-targeted immigration tends to lower the average wage. That's not the fault of the immigrant. That is the fault of corporations and government. Because there are obviously Canadians who would be willing to work said job just at a higher pay. Just because I'm not willing to work a job for $15 an hour doesn't mean that that job isn't worth doing. Obviously it is if you're planning on bringing in a temporary foreign worker to do it at minimum wage. So for my leftist worldview, it's actually pro-capitalist to support unmitigated immigration. And once again, that's not the fault of the immigrants. It's not the fault of the people who want to come here to work. Those people are victims in this too. They are being abused. But my economic argument is that if we lower the amount of international students, if we lower the amount of temporary foreign workers, and yes, if we lower the amount of immigration temporarily, it will allow for people in the Canadian labor market to be paid what they are worth. When workers are desperate, and that means domestic-born Canadians, immigrants, temporary foreign workers, when workers are desperate, they will accept any salary. That is what the corporations want. It's basic supply and demand. If we stop increasing the supply of laborers and the supply stays the same or goes down, but the demand for that work stays the same or increases, the amount you can charge for your labor goes up, meaning your salary, your wages will go up. That doesn't mean that other people's view that limiting immigration is a bad thing is not a leftist point of view. But when we draw a line in the sand and say, I'm the right kind of leftist, I have the right kind of ideas, it creates unnecessary infighting that doesn't allow for us to work towards an amicable solution. And we're all coming at this from an empathetic point of view. I feel bad for the temporary foreign workers being abused. You feel bad for people who want to come here for a better life. Neither of us is wrong when it comes to the fact that we want people to be happier and live better lives. Which is why I just ask that leftists try to put down the pitchforks sometimes and talk these things out, because I think that's important. And Ferg did a really good job of that earlier today. I highly recommend you go check out their response video to mine. I'll tag them down below.